morning, my dear. I want to show you my latest invention. I call it the Pac-Man. Yeah!
Hey, what up everybody, IntraVenus here, back with another episode of P.O.L Gamer View. And today I'm going to review the serial port adapter, which gives you the ability to read SD cards, both micro SD and regular, on your Sega Dreamcast without having to do any hard mods. This is a soft mod that attaches to the back of the serial port. Here it is. So first off, let's go ahead and get a close view on it, and I'll talk about the specifics of what you get when you purchase this. It's only like $20 right now. Let's take a closer look. All right, everybody, so here is what you get when you purchase this online. If you'd like to know how it comes, they ship it in usually, I guess, this kind of thin, flimsy cardboard box. And they'll wrap it in one thing of bubble wrap. So you'll likely receive it with some cracks in the shell or the CD case, but the Dream Shell CD that I received came intact and very clean, and I was very surprised to see that the bottom looks like a professional CD instead of like a blue CDR, like it says there. Dream Shell version 4.0 is a free downloadable software that you can get yourself and burn on your own. But when you buy this, they often, if not always, come with their own disc already burnt. This here is the SD card adapter. Version 2. You could load the regular size SD cards or the micro SD. What I've done here for myself and for us in this video is loaded up this micro SD card with video games to play on the Sega Dreamcast. You pop this in here, then you simply go to the rear end of your Sega Dreamcast, and there's your serial port. So we're gonna put it in face up. Bada bing, bada boom. Now you have all your games right here. And obviously you're gonna have your power there, but you pop open your console, plop this baby in there, power it on. And that's it. Luckily it doesn't stick out too far. You want to make sure to allow a little extra room at the back of your console so you can access this when you need to. But this is actually a very surprising device for me, and we're going to go over right now all of the games that do and do not work that I have tested, as I have gone through 50 Sega Dreamcast games today, and we'll tell you which ones worked and which ones didn't, and you might be surprised. So let's go ahead and move along. All right, now as you saw in that closer look footage, this connects directly to the back of the Sega Dreamcast through the serial port, and then you can put either a micro SD card in or a regular SD card. It has both slots right there, and it fits perfectly in there. It feels like a real product. It doesn't feel like something that is hard to jam into your system or is gonna break it. I'll tell you right now, it's not too hard to set up, and it took me about 4 tries total before I was able to get my first game running, going back and forth between this and the PC. And that's mainly because not only was I using a PC, but I also tried first formatting my SD card to FAT32 on my Mac, and it just didn't read the same way, and it wasn't picking it up on the Dream Shell. So I went back on my PC and reformatted it again, and then I drug and dropped a bunch of ISO images of Dreamcast games, and we went ahead and tested them out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you some gameplay footage here, but this is not for everybody, though it is for some people, and it might be for you depending on what you're planning on doing here. So what I've done today is I've tested 50 games. 50 Sega Dreamcast games of various qualities, file sizes, regions. And what I found out is that the majority of the games that you're going to try to play on this won't run, or at least won't run very well. That being said, some games run very well, and surprisingly so in comparison to the ones that didn't. Now, I must remind you that all of these have been downloaded off the internet. I did not rip them myself from the game disc images, so it's possible that I may have downloaded some faulty ROMs, and there may be other places where you can get them. They may work better. But I can tell you right now that some games, such as Sonic Adventure 2, surprisingly play perfectly, and I really was happy about that. In fact, I'm going to play through the whole game on here and see if there's any problems in just completing it 100%. Also, in your close-up footage, you'll see that I was using kind of a cheap brand NE-TAC micro SD card. I am not sure about the different classes and speed qualities that this can read, but what I hear is you get up to about 800 kilobits per second transfer speed, which, if you know anything about computers, is not enough for everything. Here's a list of all the games that did and did not work for me, and I'm going to start out by telling you the games that did work, and we'll see some gameplay footage over this while I'm telling you. The games that worked for me were 16 games out of 50. Doesn't sound that great, but when you hear the games, it's reasonable because it's still worth it to me for $20. Let's see. Giga Wing worked. Sonic Adventure worked very good. Godzilla Generations, a Japanese game, worked good seemingly, though I had never played the original game, so I'm not sure what's missing. It is a very slow game in general, I think. It seems like my character's moving slow, but that's just kind of how Godzilla moves in this Godzilla Generations game. Gunbird 2 worked. I Spy Operation Espionage worked, and although this isn't my style of game and I didn't play through it too far, everything I played in it seemed to work fine. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver worked, but the opening cutscene and certain cutscenes within the game are stuttery, and if you can't advance through it, it might be a little annoying to have to sit through. You might want to see those cutscenes to get the full effect of the story, but when you get into the actual gameplay and cutscenes that involve the gameplay style graphics where it doesn't switch to like a movie style cutscene, they all play very smoothly actually, and I might be able to play through this game on here. So I would say Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver works, but it's not the best way to play.
These gates twist space, laying a path across great spans.
Mars Matrix works. Mortal Kombat Gold works very well.
Rico.
Mr. Driller works very well. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis works, but it's a little stuttery, and the more zombies you have on the screen that you're shooting at a time, it might seem like there's a little bit of frame skippage, though I would say that it is playable, just not the best way to play it.
I just lost my daughter out there! How dare you tell me to go back outside?
Spider-Man works, but it's possible that this ISO that I used was a compressed version because it seems a little blurrier than I thought it would. Though actually, once you get into the gameplay, it's clearer than you would see on the title screen. And it works. Spider-Man works.
Co-creator Stan Lee here. Once again, we find our hero Peter Parker, better known around the world as the Amazing Spider-Man.
Time Stalkers works. Planet Ring, which is an interesting game. I can say it works, but if you don't know what Planet Ring is, and I didn't know until I tried it out, it seems to be some sort of social network made for only the internet on the Sega Dreamcast, and it seems to have been released in Europe, and you can't do a whole lot without a connection to the internet. Though I do hear you can connect your Sega Dreamcast to the internet in 2022. I don't know if you'll be able to find anybody on Planet Ring, but it would work if so, I think. Seaman seemed to work, but of course I don't have the microphone currently, and I wasn't able to get past the screen where I'm told by, I believe it's the voice of Leonard Nimoy,
to make sure that your microphone is connected,
that I need to check and put my microphone in. But it loaded up and everything seemed to work fine, so I bet Seaman would work. Putting it in the list of working games. Heavy Metal Geomatrix worked. There was a couple audio stutters, and since this game has a rockin' soundtrack, I'm not going to be playing the audio for it here today, but you'll see in the fighting, this game played very well. And it was fun too. I had never played this one before. It kind of reminds me of Power Stone a little bit, but more rockin'. And the last game that worked was Miss Pac-Man Maze of Madness. Now, Miss Pac-Man had very stuttery cutscenes, and luckily, once you get into the gameplay, the story doesn't really matter much, and the gameplay plays very well, very clean, looks good, plays well, no stuttering, and it's basically a three-dimensional Miss Pac-Man with new puzzles and some added dimensions and power-ups and stuff. The gameplay works great. And you don't really need those cutscenes, though they're kind of entertaining. I'll show you a brief segment of one.
Come on, dig my dear. I want to show you my latest invention. I call it the
Alright, now it's time for the list of games that did not work that I tested, and I'm just going to run them up the screen right now. Some of the games that I'd like to point out on the didn't work list were games like MDK2, Gunlord, KO the Kangaroo, Ikaruga, Rainbow Cotton, Silver. These are all games that I have used the exact same file and burnt it onto a disc, and they played good on the console from the disc. But that is because, as I wrongly predicted in my previous episode about the Sega Dreamcast, there is a difference in speed reading quality from the serial port and the actual disc reading laser itself. So with a maximum of 800 kilobits per second, I think it runs from 4 to 8 or 600 to 800 kilobits per second maximum transfer speed through the serial port. You're not going to be able to play every game at that speed. And then you also have to deal with the fact that some of these might be hacks and whatnot. All in all, though, as you'll see in my gameplay of Sonic Adventure 2, there are certain games that are most certainly worth playing on here, and I'm going to keep testing them out. Maybe if you tell me in the comments, I'll test 50 more games out, and eventually we can work our way up to a full list of compatible games that play well and don't play at all, and sort of play well on the micro SD/SD card adapter here that we have for the Sega Dreamcast. I think it'll be interesting to figure out every single game that plays good on here, because once you know, you could choose to put only those games on here, save yourself some time burning discs or going and collecting those games, keep it loaded on the back of your system, and then you'll still play your games via your disc laser if you didn't do the hard mod where you removed your disc laser, and you can take care of all the rest of your gameplay needs that way. But this can save you a little bit of trouble, a little bit of time, a little bit of space,
a little bit of money.
I got this for around $20 free shipping on Amazon. I'll put a link in my description. Also, I want you to know that I had picked up finally a Marcel, I think it's pronounced Marcel, mClassic adapter, which upscales and upgrades your quality of visual experience on these old classic games. And I hope that you notice a little bit more crispness in the game captures that I've put into this video today, as everything going forward will be using that. So I look forward to the next PSP Gems video as much as you do, I'm sure, which is going to be about kart racers on the PlayStation Portable, and that's the next video that I'm coming out with. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. If you like it, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as it really helps me out. It supports my channel and it encourages me to make new videos as much as possible. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace out.
Goodbye.
Time ticks just like the mind tricks ya. Time slips on my grip, there's no fixture. On the mix of life that God gives ya, or whatever it is that thrives in us. Even if there's no God bless it, don't need to stop, just go confess it. So my people just need someone to talk to. If you hear me, then stop and cop. If you pop the squat,